Good morning. Hey everybody, good morning. Ooh. So how's everybody doing? Good morning. Guys, I'm pumped this morning. I don't know, I think it's my coffee. I woke up late, but that's okay. I had my coffee and I'm good to go. So we're ready to talk once again. Sunday live show is all about gear, and this is show number 105. I have my PRS here, this nice beautiful single cut PRS 245, which I enjoy playing a lot, and I'm ready to talk. So I hope you guys are ready to talk too, because we're gonna have quite a bit of quite a few topics to talk about today. Good morning, that's the first thing. Hope you guys are all doing well. I know that there's a few less people here today, and I think there's still some confusion about the time change situation, but that's okay. I'm glad you guys are around. My chair is a little bit high, so I think I'm gonna lower that. I love this throne that I bought. This is actually a chair that I bought for drums, actually, when I was playing drums, and now I'm using it for my guitar. It's usually pretty comfortable. Do you guys hear me okay? I hope you guys hear me clearly, and I know the guitar is coming through, maybe even a little bit too hot. Let's see here. How's it sound? I have a Brian May special. It's called the May Special, dialed in on my Ampero 2 here, so might be a little bit too hot for so early in the morning. I think we have a couple of new people in the house, and I'm glad to see a lot of familiar faces. Welcome to the show, Addicted to Gear. Basically, it's a show for musicians from all walks of life, everything from cork sniffers to, beginners. And basically what we do here on Sunday is have a chat about gear, support each other, give each other advice, and just go through the rundown of what's interesting in terms of gear, what's new, stuff that you guys have purchased, stuff that I have purchased, we're considering purchasing, and we just feed the fire, so to speak. So we're not responsible for any kind of arguments that you have with your better half when it comes to gear. There's a disclaimer somewhere. I know I put it there somewhere, saying that it's not our fault. So if you join the show and you watch what we're talking about in terms of gear, and if you get the itch or you get some gas and you end up buying stuff and have an argument, we're not responsible. So that is the disclaimer that we have to put out there. Let's say hi to everybody that's here. And at the same time, I want to know what you guys have been up to in the last week, and specifically the bad stuff. The stuff where I know you guys have purchased some stuff. I know you guys have probably considered purchasing some stuff. I want to hear it, and I want to know. So put it in the comments. Don't wait till the end. Don't be a lurker. And we want to talk about all that stuff right away. So let me just say good morning to everybody. I'll work my way from the back this time. So the people that are last in the chat, usually I work my way from the front, but then I fall behind. So Fat Philosopher, Cohen, Octopus Years, Paul, Rico, Cushman, Alan's Guitar Channel, Rich, BC Rich is here as well. Nice. Saint Brando, good morning. Saint Brando says, first time on my live stream. I hope it's not going to be the last. Nice to see you here, buddy. The Nye. Gospel of Mark. Mike is here too. Paul as usual. So a lot of people. Mark FX. Wayne is here. Lion King. Awesome. Thank you all for joining. It's really nice to see you guys here. I mean, this is why I'm excited, because Sundays are always one of my favorite days of the week. Okay, my favorite day of the week is Friday. So let's go in and jump right into stuff right away. So I want to just get a couple of questions out of the way. And let's see what you guys have been up to. Tonefish says, my latest purchase was an American original 60s Strat in shell pink. Very nice. I like the shell pink color a lot. I think it's really a classic color. Not everybody could rock pink, but I think when you're playing a nice original 60s Strat, it's sweet. So congratulations on that. Charles 75N, hey now, lurking this morning. Hey Charles, nice to see you. Don't lurk, jump right in, man. Don't be a lurker. Fat Philosopher says spent $6 on a single gravity pick. Wow, $6. I spent $6, actually $6.99 on a bunch of these Fender extra heavies yesterday. I think there was 12 in a pack or something. Picks are becoming expensive, man. It's like almost $10 for 12 picks. What's going on? But yeah, the gravity pick seems interesting, Fat Philosopher. How do you like it? Is it awkward at first? Do you have to get used to it? I had a whole bunch of those V picks at one point also, and some of them I got used to playing with immediately. And some others, I mean, they were just too awkward, too thick, and I swing back and forth when it comes to picks. And I used to play with these Ernie Ball Prodigy picks. I like these because each side of the pick is the same, so it's almost like you have 3 points to the pick, right? So if anything sort of breaks or gets dull or whatever, you just switch it over. And what I like about these picks also is that you can just, no matter how you grab it, it's always the right end, right? As opposed to the Fender ones, you know, you have to be this way. You know, if you grab it this way, it's not right. But these ones, you can't mess it up because it's idiot proof, really. The only thing about the Prodigy picks is that it's sort of like a matte finish to them, so they're not like super, like, it's almost like the sound is a little bit duller. I don't know if that's the right word. You probably can't even hear it. Let me switch it. Can you guys tell the difference? So that was the Fender. This is the product. That was the Prodigy, and this is now going to be the... That's the Fender. So I don't know, but you probably can't tell the difference anyways. It's more a feel thing. But yeah, some of those picks are really crazy expensive. St. Brando says, I waited 11.5 months for the Jimmy Page Telecaster and returned it because it was lousy. Bought a road-worn Ventera 50s Telecaster instead. Plays, feels, and sounds better than the Dragon. I think we talked about this a little bit, but I understand. I totally understand. I'm a little bit disappointed to hear that because, you know, you're paying a lot of money for those Dragons. And I'm sure that if, you know, you don't get what you're looking for, you definitely are going to feel disappointed. But as far as those road-worn Ventera 50s Telecasters, I love the road-worn stuff. And I keep saying that I think they just play and feel amazing. And I'm glad you think so too. I would snap one up right away if I found one used somewhere. But I'm a little bit disappointed to hear about that. Where did you buy the Jimmy Page Telecaster? Just so we know. Just not to, you know, point fingers or anything. I'm just curious. If you want to share that with us, please do. Because, you know, it could be a quality control thing, but maybe it's just because they kind of crank them out quickly. I don't know. I'm a little disappointed. Maybe you want to share with the group, St. Brando, what you particularly found lacking with that Jimmy Page Telecaster. Mark EFX says, on the gas line of purchasing a Line 6 Catalyst 100. So yeah, those catalysts are pretty interesting. I think a lot of people are, and they're turning heads, right? They're offering kind of, there's a weird sound. I don't know if you guys hear. There's a weird low hum happening. It's probably my the really cheap Donner patch cable that I grabbed this morning. Hold on, let me see something. No, it's not it's not the patch cable. Sorry, Donner. Okay, so it's probably something on my power bar that's a little too close to some other power bar that's causing a little bit of hum. Sorry about that, guys. The beauty of going live, you never know what the issues are going to be. Maybe you guys don't hear it on your end, which is all good. Good morning down in New Jersey. Tonefish says, I'm secure in my manhood. I play my piano and sing my little songs. I'm looking for a piano player. Tonefish. I'm looking for a keyboard player for my band. And man, it's like looking for a needle in a haystack. I don't know if I'm just scaring people away or what, but everybody that I've contacted that I felt might be a good fit, they're just like not interested, or they're scared, or they're, I don't know. I don't know if it's just me. Octopus here says, I found a vintage Fender Bassman for $300. It will be mine. Wow, a vintage one too on top of that. That's pretty cheap for a bass. Is there issues with it? Is there something wrong? Something needs to be repaired? Ask a lot of questions. I'm a little bit surprised that you'd find a vintage Bassman for $300. Okay, cool. Well, that's good. If it is good and everything is checks out on it, grab it, man. That's a good deal. Mark says, I want to just go to a guitar store. I have to drive almost 45 minutes to get to a good one, maybe this week. I did that yesterday because I needed some strings, Mark. And actually, it wasn't a good one. It was just one of these chains that has a little guitar section in it. And I only went in there because the other guitar stores were closed. I was behind schedule and it was almost closing time. And this one, because it wasn't a mall, was open later. So I ended up going there. I needed some strings. So I ended up grabbing my usual pack of Ernie Ball regular strings. And actually, these are 10s. Usually I play 9s. I don't know why I grabbed the 10s. That could have been a mess up there. But anyways, I grabbed a set of 10s, and then I grabbed a set of acoustic guitar strings. And honestly, they didn't have the set that I wanted, so I got a set of these. What's that noise? The Adagio Phosphor Bronze. Warm, bright, and balanced tone. 10 to 47s. I tried to get, like, you know, the thinnest gauges I could get. Is that my dog? No, who's making noise? Anyways, I ended up getting those. And I don't know if I made the right choice. Let me just send a quick text. 1 second, guys. I'm just trying to keep things at a quiet pace here. 1 second. Let's see here. Okay, so sorry, I ended up getting these, and I usually buy Martin strings. They didn't have any. They were all sold out. Big surprise every time you go to a store and you go out of your way to get something specific. They never have what you need, right? So I ended up getting these. And I wanted to ask you guys that do play acoustic guitar, like, you know, the serious acoustic guitar players, what do you guys usually buy and use for strings? I didn't feel like spending $30 on a set of Elixirs or all these new brands that are coated. I'm not a big fan of the coated ones. So I'm just curious to see what you guys normally gravitate towards in terms of strings. Just so you guys know, we're going to go for an hour today. An hour on the nose. I got a lot of things that I need to prepare in terms of content that I'm making for the channel. I fell behind because of the family things that were happening, and yesterday I started working on some new videos again, and I have a lot of them that I want to get out, and I don't want to fall behind. The weekends for me are the days where I have a little bit more free time, so I try and squeeze in some time for new recordings as well. So I wanted to just put that out there. And I know some of you guys you asked me to go longer and go 2 hours, and sometimes we do just because we get into a good topic. But today I'm going to try and keep it to about an hour. All right, guys, so get in your questions while you can. Alan says, I like chicken picks. They are expensive too. I like those also. I had a nice collection of those chicken picks, and slowly they all disappear. And I'm sure I'm not the only one that ends up just losing picks. My kids say I shed picks because every time I pull something out of my pocket, a pick falls out. So I end up losing them, but I'm pretty sure I know where they are. I'm pretty positive that most of those are under my seat in my car, because every time I pull my phone out of my pocket, 2 or 3 picks fall out and go under the seat. So next time I clean the car, I'm gonna just dive under there and probably find about a dozen picks or so. Paul wants to know, Tony, your thoughts on the $5,000 funny-looking Gibson Theodore. Basically, they're 1,500 SG, even the pickup. So, yeah, I noticed that, Paul, yesterday. I was looking at that. And honestly, it's ugly, man. Ugh. Ugly. I'm sorry if you guys feel... If you guys like that guitar, I'm sorry. But my personal opinion is yuck. I wouldn't buy it. You know, it could sound like the angels singing, but the look of that guitar, eesh. Who's designing these guitars? I know it's based on an older model. I know that's what it's basically, okay, so for those of you who don't know, okay, the Theodore is a body shape that Gibson has come up with that it's based on a 65-year-old archive design. And honestly, if that design was archived, they should have stayed archived, because it doesn't look nice. It's basically, it's a double cut, but it looks like a tulip. Like the horns on the guitar go outwards like that instead of curving inwards like you normally would see. And this apparently was inspired by a sketch drawn by Ted McCarthy way back when. And no, sorry guys, it's not the type of guitar that I would gravitate towards. You guys give me your thoughts while I just send a quick text here. 1 second. If you're looking for a guitar, not only would I not spend $5,000 on the guitar because it's $5,000, but there's nothing that I like about that guitar. There's nothing I find like sexy about it at all. So that's my thought on that, guys. Sorry for being blunt. D-Max says, good morning. Just wondering if it's worth looking at a Headrush FRFR. I'm playing an HX Stomp through power amp on my Katana. Would the Headrush be worth the change? Play most lower volume at home. I guess you meant mostly lower volume at home. I like the Headrush. I'm not affiliated or sponsored by them or whatever. I bought one for myself. I like it. I like it because it's portable. I like it because if I go to a jam and I want to be able to play with one of my multi-effects units, I can just take the multi-effects unit and the powered speaker and just go. It's loud enough to play with a band, plenty loud. I like them a lot, and I like the fact that they're not coloring your sound as much. When you're going through a power section of an amp, you're always going to have a little bit of coloration. The FR speakers are supposed to be a little bit flatter, so I like them. And I don't think they're extremely expensive at all, and you can get really nice power rating out of that. The thing I would say, though, is that there's a lot of bass coming out of the Headrush, even the small ones. You can get the ones with the smaller speakers or the larger speakers. The smaller speakers have plenty of low end. So I'm thinking if you go, if you end up buying one and you go with one that has a larger speaker, you might have a little bit too much low end. You see what I mean? So that's something that you might want to consider, like maybe going towards the lower wattage ones. Okay, but I like them. I'm giving the Headrush FR speakers a thumbs up. Tonefish says, I had a little left on the card, the gift card, and ordered 2 of them, 6mm ones. So I'm thinking you guys are still talking about the picks. Awesome, awesome. Quicksilver was on vacation. Hey, welcome back, man. We missed you, dude. And the lucky man who went to Italy. How did you like it, Quicksilver? How was Naples? Actually, my wife's from Naples originally. Well, not she was born here. She's Canadian, but her her family, her parents were born in Naples. Napolitan. So, how many pounds did you gain while you were there, Quicksilver? Just wondering. That's how I usually gauge my vacations. And actually, speaking of how many pounds, I don't know about you guys, but spring is here, and my beach body is not in order. Dude, I'm gaining so much weight, it's not even funny. I'm pushing 230. 230, guys. Holy mackerel. I weighed myself the other day. Actually, I'm not 230 yet, but I'm not far from it. It's a couple of 1 or 2 meals away from 230. I got to do something to lose weight, and I got to do it fast. This is the heaviest I've ever been, and I think this whole COVID thing, being locked up for 2 years, excuse me, winter is always a hibernation period for me. And when I get stressed, I eat. And let's just say the last few months have been probably the most stressful period of my life. So I seriously have to get in shape and stop eating. I don't know what to do, guys. Give me some tips. Philosopher says the gravity is awkward because it's kind of small. Yeah, I don't like picks that are too small. I usually, the Jazz 3s are the ones, I guess, the smallest picks that I use. And the thing about those ones is that you end up getting a lot of thumb meat in your picking, especially if you're playing leads. So you end up like squealing the notes a little bit more with those. More of that. So you have to be careful when you're using smaller picks if you don't want to. If you want to hear clean sounds, right? And Mark says he can hear the difference. Mark, you got good ears, dude. Let me scroll down here. Let me scroll down. Let's see here. I need to lose weight too. I'm gonna cut the carbs and sugar. Alan, yeah, carbs, sugar mainly. You know, sugar's like poison, but the sugar and carbs, refined flour, and everything. So it's kind of hard. I might have to go to a vegetarian type diet, and that'll stop me from eating because none of the vegetarian stuff tastes good to me. Rico says, I just came back from a 7-day cruise with the kids. Spring break, tried to get Fender Ensenada tour. Cool. Awesome. A nice cruise. So I guess everybody's kind of, in the States at least, everything's kind of opened up. Everything's back to normal in terms of like the COVID situation. No big protocols anymore. Sounds good to me. I'm looking forward to possibly setting up a vacation soon too. I got to go to the beach. I got to get some sand. I got to get some sun. I got to get some like salt water in the air. I miss that. So we'll see if we can set that up. BC Rich says, sad that Gibson finally introduces something different, then sets a price on it that no one can afford unless they're a dentist or a gynecologist. You know what, man? I'm tired of bitching about the pricing. Because it seems to me like everyone is on the bandwagon to gouge. You know, not just Gibson, everybody. You know what I mean? I don't know if you guys heard this, but Fender has released or is going to be releasing what they call a Mattel Partner 16 custom shop Hot Wheel guitars, which are going to be, of course, limited edition, which are going to end up costing an arm and a leg because they're custom shop. It's a custom shop line. So I don't know if you guys heard about this or not. Stop me if you heard about it already. But these things are going to cost a fortune because they're limited, right? There's 16 of them. One of a kind, $12,000 each. So basically, you're going to be getting a fancy paint job on some, pretty standard run-of-the-mill guitars, even though they call them master-built guitars. To me, master-built just means that you're going to get fleeced. And basically they're gonna cost you a ton of money, $12,000. would you guys buy one of these? I mean, it seems like all the companies are trying to come out with stuff that they think are like limited run just because they say so. Like there's nothing really special about them beyond a paint job or whatever. Limited run stuff that they jack up the price with and hope that people are going to buy them because they say that they're, you know, limited, one of a kind. To me, limited edition just means you can't buy this crap forever. That's what it means. And I don't buy it. And I'm not a big I'm not going to go for it. You know what I mean? I'm just not. I mean, I think people are smarter than that today, you know? I know they have to make their numbers. They have to, you know, but I mean, according to the statistics, they've been selling guitars like crazy. And now they're trying to convince us to spend this kind of money when people just came out of a pandemic. A lot of people are still, you know, financial situation is not good. So just one second. I'm just going to send my son a message because he's in the other room working out with his weights. No respect for the live show at all. And he's making a racket. That stuff that the clanging you're hearing, that's his weights. You know, he's probably doing 250-pound deadlifts or something like that right now. And I text him, but he doesn't respond. So no respect for the live show, guys. What can I say? I gotta live with that. And I apologize for the background noise. Let's see here. BC Rich says for $12K you could literally get a handmade alembic or fodera bass. Sorry, I'm mispronouncing those names because I'm not a bass player, but I assume those are super high-end basses. You could, for $12,000, you can have, like, you know, one of the best luthiers in your area build you a guitar. Maybe 2 or 3 even. You know what I mean? Anyways, I'm just bitching at this point. Sorry, guys. I said I wasn't gonna. You guys pull me back in. Every time I feel like I'm getting zen, I get pulled back in. Now, Octopus here says, like the Murphy Lab guitars, I just can't believe they're going to hold their value, but they will somehow. You know, yeah. You know what? I just wish that Fender or Gibson or whoever the guitar company is would just release one model or just a series that is affordable, like in the main line, like a Gibson, not an Epiphone. And for Fender, not a Squier, but just a Fender guitar, a Gibson guitar, whatever, an Ibanez, Charvel, whatever, that is affordable, that is sort of below inflation, just to help us out a little bit. I think those would probably sell like hotcakes. Who's with me? Who's with me on that? You know what I mean? It's like, come on. PRS too, it's like, they're great guitars. I like PRSs. I got one here. I like PRSs, but make them more affordable. You know, the PRS stuff is great, but I mean, you know, even the SE stuff now is above $1,000. It used to be around 800, which was okay. Now it's getting up there again. My son's a beast, Mark. I can't complain too much because he could whip my ass on that. But he's lifting weights that there's no chance I'm gonna be lifting. He's just like, you know, going crazy, pumping iron. Yeah, he's getting there. I don't mind because he could be like my bodyguard when we go out. You know what I mean? Hey, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Randy says, whenever I get hungry, I drink water. A programmed response that works. I've been trying that water thing, Randy. I have water here, but I mean, sometimes I just crave meat. I don't know what it is. Cheers, guys. It's just water. I should work out with my son, but I don't want to get bigger. You know, look at these pythons, guys. I don't want to get bigger. It's too much. I'm just kidding. Beast. No, I'm gonna scratched up over here. I'm basically trying to get my cardio in shape more than the muscles. I did purchase a stationary bike, which I've been doing. in between meetings and whatnot. I try and jump on there a couple of times a day and do a couple of kilometers just to get a little bit prepared for spring. I like doing a lot of cycling, so that's my thing. It's the ticker. The ticker, I have to keep the ticker healthy. But yeah, doing the weights, it does help. It keeps you limber, for sure. Have the butler go round them up. Unfortunately, Mark, no can do. So Dan says, not even if I had 12K, they are trying to sell guitars like golf clubs now. Doesn't make you better or appreciate what you have. Bingo. Bingo. And I think the mentality out there, Dan, is that you need to have that guitar to be a better player. And honestly, it's just practice. Practice, practice, practice. You can take a so-so guitar, but if you practice and play really well, you're going to be rocking that guitar, and you're going to sound way better than the next guy with the $12,000 PRS if he doesn't know how to play, right? So I would say, hold strong and practice more, and you're going to be way ahead in terms of tone and quality of playing. Alan says guitars are crazy prices. Only the rich can afford gear not to play, but to brag and use for wall ornaments. Exactly. Yes, I agree. I agree, man. We're talking the same language. I think everybody here understands each other, which is great. And BC Rich says it's really just driving people to the lower tier brands, Epiphone, Squier, ESP, LTD, to get into playing, and that's the brand loyalty that they will hold going forward. And I think so. I think you're right. It's everybody strives to want a really nice guitar, PRS, whatever. Epiphone, not Epiphone, well, even some of the Epiphones. I'm not knocking Epiphone, but obviously Gibson and all these other brands out there. Everybody's like looking at those, and they I like how they take those guitars and they put them out of reach at the Guitar Center, so you have to have like a 12-foot ladder to get to them, just to kind of make it feel like, oh look, that's my goal. One day I'm gonna have one of those guitars. You know what I mean? But honestly. If you know how to play your guitar, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't. I'm just saying. Yes, the prices did go up about 200 euros out of nowhere. I agree. I saw that, and they're still going up. And I think they're not finished going up, unfortunately. Which is good if you have a lot of guitars like me and you want to get rid of some. Because that's the mode I'm in now, is sort of to thin the herd. And this spring there's gonna be a fire sale. I'm gonna sell a few of the ones that I don't play anymore and just make room, and eventually I just need to get a little bit more zen and focused, and that's my goal this spring. Mark says, Tony, for acoustic strings, try Kurt Mangan. They make 9s for acoustic, and you like those? They're good. $10 a set, reasonable. I was gonna order my strings online, usually, get a 3-pack at Amazon or something like that, but I wanted them then and there, so I didn't. But yeah, I'll check them out. If you think they're good, Mark, I respect your opinion, dude. I'll check them out for sure. Always looking for something a little different that I haven't tried before. Let me just scroll down here. Can be my roadie, yeah. And Surferby says, Tony, start tomorrow, eat less, eat healthier, and do 3-mile walk every day or exercise of choice. Be consistent for 3 months. It's just time. It's like, yeah, I love walking, I love cycling, I love being outside. I'm not against eating healthier, although I do frequent fast food places a little too often just because of my schedule. But consistency is the key. I agree with you. And you just have to find time to squeeze those things in, because a 3-mile walk or so, it takes time, right? You got to fit that in your day. And unfortunately, my full-time job doesn't allow me to be outside much during the day, and by the time I'm finished my day's work, I'm kind of burnt, you know. So just working on some of the content and stuff like that, it just fills up my day, unfortunately. But yeah, you got to make time. And Mark says the Kurt Mangan 9s are great. Had to start using them when I was doing multiple acoustic gigs a week. My hands were getting shredded and they helped. Okay, awesome. Good. I'm going to try them. I'll let you know. I'll let you know how they work out for me. Alan says, have you ever done a video, Tony, on your stream setup, i.e. cameras, audio, etc.? Like a video, you mean like a review video on my stream? I haven't. I have not, because it's extremely limited in terms of what you can do. But I was considering doing some reviews, some live sessions of specifically the multi-effects units that I have, and I think I mentioned that. I wanted to actually do like a live session where I spend an hour or half an hour or whatever, and I go through each one of these multi-effects units that I have here and answer your questions live and show you stuff live. I've been considering doing that. I don't know how well it's going to work though, but I'm considering it. My setup here, Alan, is not like state of the art. It's like some YouTubers have beautiful cameras that cost like, you know, $3,000, 4K, super high quality. Unfortunately, I can't afford that. If I spend money on that stuff, then I'm not spending money on this stuff. So I kind of do what I can with the equipment that I have here. Eventually, I'll try upgrading, but I mean, not right now. But I know what you're saying. Like, you know, if you're talking about like Steve from Boston, that type of thing where he has the live setup and he does everything live, it works for him, you know. I might try it one day. It would save me time. Mike wants to know, talk about the tube shortage or tube amps. Our tube amps are in danger. Mike, yeah, there's been a lot of talk about the tube situation. I agree. I've seen that quite a bit. Good news is that Electro Harmonics says that the tube situation was resolved, is what they said. But even though they said it's resolved, they did mention that the prices are going to go up. Of course, right? Big surprise. So basically, they're saying that their official comment was, considering the various economic pressures mentioned in our last announcement, we would be forced to raise our wholesale price on the tubes, right? And the price increase, which will be announced separately, will apply to all new orders and back orders. And what they're saying is there will be a further price increase imposed on shipments received after the U.S. government, following Canada's lead, sorry guys, had nothing to do with that, of imposing 35% tariffs. So basically, because Canada has put tariffs on these things of 35%, we're all going to suffer, basically. And we're all going to pay more for tubes. So if you have tubes, hang on to them, guys, because they're going to come in handy. And I'm pretty sure that these new prices are going to affect all the different brands across the board. And basically, a lot of them are coming from Russia. And there's only a couple of, like a handful of places that these things are being made. And they affect all of the brands, like Tungsol, Electro Harmonics, EH Gold, Genelex, Gold Lion, Mullards, all of them. So, yeah, it's going to be more money for tubes. I feel the tubes are already pretty expensive, maybe a little bit too expensive as they are now, but they will be more expensive. I have a little stash of tubes that I have where when I take my tubes out of the amp, sometimes I just want a specific tube in my amp. So there's nothing wrong with the existing tube. I just take it out and replace it with something a little bit more specific. I hang on to the ones I take out. So I have a little stash. So if anything should fail, I should be okay. And also because I have a few different tube amps, if one fails, I have a backup or two. So I'm okay. But a lot of people might not be in the same situation, and you're going to end up paying more, unfortunately. Will this cause people to gravitate a little bit more to amps that are solid state? I think so. I think they will. I think they'll also probably cause people to gravitate a little bit more to multi-effects units. And when I say that, I'm talking about the Kempers, the Axe FXs, the Line 6 stuff, all of that. Because honestly, for the price of one amplifier, a good amplifier, you can get an Axe FX, top of the line, and you can have everything. And I think that's the direction that a lot of the professional players are going towards nowadays anyways. So it wouldn't make sense that, maybe they're going to get fed up and they're going to say, hey, instead of buying a Friedman amp or something that's going to cost me $3,000 or $4,000, I'm just going to invest in an Axe FX or a Kemper or something like that and build on that. My opinion. Could be totally wrong. That's my opinion. That's what I would do. Dan of New Jersey says, I refuse to buy into custom shop except my arm could be twisted for a custom Les Paul. So, excuse me. So Dan, how come you feel differently about the Les Pauls? Favoritism. What's going on there? Randy says, good morning, Tony, and all of you gassers. Good morning, Randy. Nice. I'm happy you joined us, Randy. One thing I wanted to say, let me just scroll quickly to see if there's any other questions here. Here's a good one. So Fat Philosopher says, how bad must fret sprout get before you should correct it? Is a little bumpy, but not sharp. Okay. Depends on your level of, OCD. I don't like fret sprout at all. Like if I have fret sprout, if I feel bumps, I'm immediately resolving that situation. As a matter of fact, just yesterday, I happened to take this guitar right there. This is the Kramer sort of Beretta that I built from a kit, and that guitar didn't do well over winter. It has pretty bad fret sprout right now. And the neck was extremely, it had moved quite a bit. I had to play around with the truss rod. I'm probably going to have to play around with it a bit more to get it where I need it to be. Because that guitar was built from a kit, kits are not, I think, treated the same way as run-of-the-mill guitars you buy in a shop. What I mean by that is that the wood is not necessarily, I don't think, kiln dried appropriately. Like a lot of these kits are just being cranked out. So stuff like necks and stuff will move a lot during the first couple of years, especially if you're dealing with climate change. When I say climate change, I just mean between the seasons, not like something very drastic. But between winter, spring, things dry out. Summertime, at least in my area, becomes very humid. So things shift all the time. Those kits don't do well. So I'm going to have to take that kit, and that's a project that I'm going to have this spring. Thankfully, now that it is spring, I can start working in my garage a little bit more and start doing paint jobs again and start working on my guitars. So this one is going to be going through a little bit of an overhaul because it needs a lot of TLC. So that's the answer. The long answer to a short question is basically, for me, anytime I feel a little bit, if the bumps are there, I basically deal with them right away. And Mark says that he's okay with a little bumpy, poking your hands. It may need help. Try putting it somewhere with more moisture. That's the main issue with fret sprout. You guys can buy like little humidifiers, really small ones for one specific room. And you can just put it in with your guitars and keep the humidity level at about 50%. You should be okay. If things go below 50, you're going to start having problems. And if you guys are dehumidifying a room or a basement or something like that where you keep your guitars, it's going to dry it out. So the key is to keep things as stable as possible. Mark says he has bad fret sprout on his G&L Comanche. Is that a maple neck? Or is that a rosewood? What kind of a neck is that? I think the maple necks tend to dry out more. Just my opinion. Could be wrong, but I kind of feel that it's the maple necks that kind of dry out a little bit more. And speaking of necks, it's a good segue. I actually did the roots yesterday on one of my guitar necks, and the reason I say I did the roots is because you know how women dye their hair and get rid of the white hair every so often, and make sure that there's no white hair showing. Well, that's what I felt like I was doing yesterday. Yesterday I took the Monty's guitars, Monty Presso. This is a little tin of a concoction that they put together, very similar to shoe polish, but it's not for shoes, not meant for shoes. And basically they call it relic wax, and it's just a type of paste, waxy paste that you can see there. It looks a lot like shoe polish, that you can actually put on your necks, the rosewood necks or the darker necks, and you can make them darker. And I tried it. I wanted to try this for a long time, and I actually tried it, and I shot a video for you guys. I'm going to be publishing that video next. And it turns out that it's pretty good. I'm not a big fan of putting like stuff that colors the neck, like dyes and stuff that are permanent, because what ends up happening is that it's a little bit too aggressive for me. But I like keeping my necks hydrated, and just using regular either mineral oil, or there's a lot of products that are on the market from different guitar companies that allow you to hydrate your necks. Just using those products without any coloration in it will just automatically make your necks look darker. You can take olive oil and put it on your guitar necks. I don't recommend you doing that, but I'm just saying you can basically take any kind of oil and put it on your neck, and it'll darken it up a little bit, because it's going to absorb and look a little darker. But these products are made specifically with, a tint in mind. And I know a lot of people have tried things like, straight ahead shoe polish and stuff like that. The reason why I wouldn't recommend those products is because they're toxic. You don't know what's going in there. A lot of them are chemicals. Whereas I think this product seems to be a little bit more on the natural side, and it is supposed to be geared for instruments specifically. So I took a hit for the team. I took this and I applied it to a Fender neck that I was working on, and I'm going to show you the results of that. Now, they say you can apply this and leave it on from anywhere between 5 minutes and 24 hours. I did both, just to give you an idea of what you would be getting there. And I'm going to show you the results, so stay tuned for that. There's also this Monty's Guitars, what they call instrument food, which is similar but not the same. There's no coloration in it, so I think it's basically the base of what the other product was without the color in it. And it's sort of like a waxy, to me it reminds me of lip gloss. There's no smell to it besides maybe a waxy smell. But this is something that I haven't tried before. I have my own concoction that I use for hydrating the necks, but I wanted to give this a try. So I'm gonna give it a run and let you know how I like them. Keeping your necks hydrated is a good thing. People forget about that. I don't do it every single time I change my guitar strings, but I just basically evaluate the way the wood looks to me, and if it looks like it needs it, then I do it. If it doesn't, I just clean it, and we're in business. Randy says, having built numerous Strats over the years, I cannot justify paying more than $700 to $1,000 for any Strat. In my world, any expense greater than that will more than likely be cosmetic. I agree. Randy, once you start building your own guitars, you kind of realize that, if you get good at it, you realize that you can build a good guitar for about $700 to $1,000 is a price point to get good quality hardware. And if you know how to put it together, Strats are extremely easy to put together once you know how to set them up. So it's kind of hard to justify going into a store and spending $2,500 or more for a Strat. In my opinion, I totally agree. And Paul says, the right pickup and a serious luthier setup and everything else is practice. I get noticeable much better yearly. I get noticeably, I think you meant. Much better yearly, but nothing less than 2 hours a day playing things difficult that sound crap for weeks. Yeah, I'm doing the same thing where we actually ended up having a really nice jam session for the first time in a while, probably in 3 or 4 months. So I was extremely rusty. I haven't been practicing as much, to be honest. I just didn't have the time. And basically, the rust shows. You got to practice. So we ended up selecting some new songs, and we're going to be learning those songs for the next session, so on and so forth. So I got a lot of homework to do, and hopefully that'll keep me playing and keep me going forward in terms of not getting sidetracked and actually practicing. And I had a question for you guys. How do you guys go about practicing solos specifically? Because yeah, we can all learn chords. You can all, you can download tabs, memorize the chords and stuff like that, and that's usually pretty straightforward for most songs. But when it comes time to learning how to play a specific solo, how do you guys tackle that? Because solos are challenging. They go by really quick. You have to have a good ear. Sometimes if you end up relying on tabs, the tabs are not accurate at all. They're most of the time they're wrong. So you have to kind of break it down. Do you guys use specific tools? Do you guys have specific techniques for learning solos specifically? Let me know how you guys do it, because I have my way of doing it that kind of works for me, but I'm always looking for better ways. And for me, I'll just tell you how I go about doing it. So basically, I listen to if a song is new and I haven't heard it before, there's certain songs that I've heard a million times, like, anything from Led Zeppelin, the Rolling Stones, all these classic songs. You've heard them over and over again. But sometimes you listen, but you don't really hear. You know what I mean? You're listening overall, but you're not necessarily focusing on a specific point. When I'm trying to learn a solo, I'll listen to just a solo for a while. Just make it sink in. And I'll try and get as familiar enough with it that I can hum it. So that I know like how many notes per bar kind of thing. I have the rhythm in mind, the groove in mind. And then I'll break it down into small chunks. And what I'll do is I'll try to memorize the beginning part, like the first couple of seconds. And then when I get good with that, I'll go into the second, third, fourth part, and I'll break it down. And there's always some sections on some solos that are just more challenging technically, where I can't necessarily play them because it's too fast, or it's a technique that I haven't mastered. So I'll work on that as much as I can till I can get it, can get through the solo completely, and then I'll just try and get it up to speed. I'll try and play it slow at first, break it down and break it into slower chunks, and then try and get it up to speed. And I find that works. Sometimes it's just complicated enough just to memorize the whole thing, but you got to play it out there. Yeah, there's a lot of YouTubers that will teach you solos note for note. Some of them I can't even get through the video because I'm just too impatient. It's just going by too slow. For me, like, I'm quick enough to sort of grasp on quick. And some of these guys, they're just too slow. Like, okay, fret the 5th fret on the 2nd string, then fret the 7th fret on the 3rd string. I can't sit through that. What I need is just somebody to play through it. Like, just play through it, show me, slow it down, and just break it up into chunks. There's one YouTuber that was doing that, which is was amazing to me, and I love this guy. But unfortunately, I think because of the YouTube restrictions on copyright stuff, he stopped. But he was great because he would actually play the solo, play it all with the tabs underneath it, and then break it down into chunks, slow it down. It was beautiful. It was gold. But unfortunately, he's not doing that anymore. I'm talking about Bruce. I'm talking about copying someone else's solo, not learning, not improvising. You know what I mean? And your point is valid. The great guitarist didn't get great copying someone else's solo. You can definitely put your own spin on it, but technically, I try and learn the solo first, and then once you learn it, then you improvise over it. You know what I mean? That's how I like to do it. Some people don't like to do that. They just put their spin on the solos and make it their own. That's fine too. Looper pedals is also a good idea, Jeff. Yeah, definitely. Looper pedal backing tracks is good. Playing with a metronome is good. Metronome is super important just to keep the timing right. And things like that. I don't know if you guys have any other tricks. Dan says, I practice solos by going with the original material and then going by feel. After recording it, I break it down and work on the rough spots. Yeah, recording. That's another great tip. Record yourself if you can. Now we all have, a phone in our pocket. It's easy to do. If you record yourself, definitely makes it a lot easier because you could actually hear where you're flubbing the notes, where things are not smooth. And Dan's absolutely right. You can work on the rough spots. Mark says, I try to hit the singable parts of the solo and improv the rest. Another good tip. Yes. If you listen to classic solos, there's certain sections of the solos that are kind of the key tonal aspect of the solo. Like, if you listen to a Led Zeppelin solo, for example, I bring up Jimmy Page, but there's certain things in his solos that are like the key that you can't really change. If you flub those notes, if you change the way those specific notes are being played, it kind of makes it into another solo, different solo. So I find if you keep those main parts of the solos, and I think we all know more or less where they are, if you keep those main parts and learn them correctly, and then improvise in between, people don't mind because the integrity of the solo is kind of still there. But if you change those little key parts, then it kind of gets a little bit, kind of makes it your own at that point. Larry says, I used transcribe software. It slows it down so you can hear, then work it up to speed. I have that software too, Larry. I stopped using it you know why I stopped using it? Because it didn't allow me to import songs from, let's say, Apple Music or whatever streaming service I was using. So I would have to save the song as an MP3, then import it, and then set it up so that I can play the solo slowly, which I felt was a little bit more of a hassle. So I stopped using it. But I found that the software was very good for slowing down extremely fast solos because they would just go by so fast you couldn't even hear the notes. So I might actually go back and blow the dust off of that software and use it again. There's a guy who uses advanced science to explain Ingwe's sweep picking solos. Yeah, I know. I've seen some of those too. I've seen one guy, I think he called his video Unlocking the Code to Eddie Van Halen's picking technique. And he would show a bunch of videos of Eddie and how he would pick and how he would hold his pick and stuff like that, which I thought was cool because I'm a geek for that kind of stuff. But, at the end of the video, in one ear, out the other. It didn't really change my playing technique at all. I still don't sound like Eddie Van Halen at all. Presley, California Custom says, my builds usually come in just under 1K. I aim to retail them for $950. That includes a teardrop tweed hardshell case, a plec, and a Seth Presley setup. I think that's a reasonable price, my opinion. If you're including all that, including a plec job, that's a good price. I don't have any issues with that kind of price. I think that's the right ballpark for sure. Keep up the great work. And if you guys haven't checked out Presley California Customs, please do. you can get yourself a really nice setup guitar and something really cool for not too much money. And Alan says if you know what key the song is in, you should know the scale that would go over it. Yes, absolutely. And that helps because not only does it help you weed out the bad notes, it also allows you to figure out the chords, because usually the chords will also be in the correct key of the scale, and it kind of facilitates what you're learning and gives you kind of an X-ray vision of how the song was actually built and what you should aim for in terms of notes and chords. So yes, absolutely. That is a very good point, Alan. Very good point. All right, it just turned. I mean, we just spent an hour. I'm liking where the conversation's going today, so I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a special. I'll give you 20% more. We'll keep on talking for a little bit. All right. I like this conversation. I think we're having a very constructive conversation. I don't want it to end yet, so I go back on what I said. I'll just keep it going for a little more. Okay. Rico says, Tony, I like the Songster app. It's pretty good. You can choose replay speed, 10, 50%. Those apps are great. Yeah, I agree. They're just a great tool. Because when you slow down the pitch, they don't go out of tune. Like, in other words, it doesn't change the key. Like if you would normally slow down a song, well, it's not going to be in the right key anymore. This one will keep it in the same key with the algorithm that it uses to figure out the song so that you can still break it down. Lion King says, I get hungry when I see my Les Paul because sometimes it looks like a slice of Spam ham. Okay. I never had that experience, but I do have to say that the smell of the Gibsons remind me of vanilla, and sometimes, you know, it reminds me of food. It's getting tougher and tougher to hit that number now. Yeah, I agree. Totally. And that's why the prices keep going up. I mean, with all the stuff that's going on in the world and supply chain situations, it is hard. But I mean, that's, you know, maybe something that somebody should be focusing on. I don't know. For solos, I usually start by ear, look at tabs, look at different YouTubers if available, just to see their take. Then I put my spin on it. Yeah, I do that too. I'll typically go into YouTube first, start watching a bunch of videos, people showing the solo. They all kind of play it a little bit different. Then I kind of take bits and pieces from all of that, and I kind of figure out what the easiest way to put them all together for me would be. You know, sometimes I see people working way too hard and hitting, you know, going back and forth all aspects of the neck up and down, where you can actually isolate it to one aspect of one area of your fretboard to make it a lot easier to play. So if I can do that, then I'll kind of optimize what I'm seeing so that I don't have to work as hard. Vox Guitar says, I don't like loopers. I keep hearing my mistakes over and over again. Well, that's a good thing, because then you can focus on those mistakes and make them better, right? If it's annoying you, that's what you need to work on. And Paul says, I only play originals, so I write a solo with a Brian May approach in that they are melodic. If I stretch live, I have a theme to get into and out of. Never play without my drum machine. There's certain solos, in my opinion, that are a little bit easier for me to play because, in fact, they are melodic. Like, I find, you know, the Santana stuff a lot easier to play because he's not extremely fast. He doesn't have any like crazy techniques, and his solos are pretty much very melodic. So it's almost like singing. So it's easy to fall into place and know where you need to go, even if you have to improvise over them. Whereas other solos, like Eddie Van Halen, for example, you know, his solos don't sound really good when they're slow. If you're trying to learn them and you're slowing them down, they kind of sound like finger exercises, you know, and then they don't sound really good till you get to a certain speed. Then when you get into a certain speed, then they sound really cool. Whereas, you know, the stuff like Peter Frampton stuff, of course, Santana stuff, a lot of the more melodic players, you can play the solos quick or slow, and they kind of sound good. Even the Eric Clapton stuff, because he doesn't, you know, again, it's more melodic. Let me just jump down here. Dan says, really want to get a multi-effects Helix pedal, but the cost and my wife freaking out at me boxing my analogs would be worse. Okay. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it's going to be kind of, you can, if you sell off some of the stuff that you already have and you don't use, I don't think they can actually freak out as much, because you're kind of just, you know, taking that and putting it into something else. So it's the same kind of cash going on. You understand? I don't know. Hey, JP, nice to see you, buddy. Good to see you here, man. Hope everything's good. Yeah, Steve, I agree. Steve says that's true. And suckers with more money than brains will fork it over. They will fork it over. There's always reason to spend more money. Vox Guitar says my daughter has an app on her phone that identifies a song by listening to it. Wasn't that called Boxster or something like that? I forget what the title or the name of that app was. When working on a solo, if she uses the app and it recognizes the song, I know I've got it down. Good tip. Yeah, because it uses artificial intelligence to recognize the song. It's true. So if you play it and you're playing it on key, you're playing it in time, and you're hitting the right notes, it should technically identify it. True. Yeah, that's true, Alan. I noticed that too. The stuff's all over the place, right? But if you play it fast enough, you can get through the parts that are a little bit not as, that maybe shouldn't necessarily be in that key, but it's cool, right? It's the technique. Shazam, that's what it was called. Why did I say Boxster? I was totally off on that. Shazam, yeah, that's the name of the app. Thank you. Yeah, David Gilmour, of course. David Gilmour is a legend for playing very melodic solos. And it has to be played note for note. It's true. You can't really improvise as much, but it's beautiful. Yeah, definitely. I love David Gilmour stuff. One thing I wanted to talk about, I'm holding this guitar and I haven't actually talked about guitars yet. So I wanted to say I actually finally got the set of no wax pickups in this guitar. So if you guys remember, and I'll just raise up my seat here a little bit so I can get a little bit more comfortable. Try not to unplug stuff under here. So originally I had got a set of no wax pickups because I wanted to upgrade the standard pickups in the PRS SE 245. They're in there. These are the pickups that I was playing earlier. You can't really hear all of the nuance of these pickups going through a multi-effects unit. But so far I'm liking. Let me just get a better sound because this sound kind of sucks. Hold on a second. Let's see here. I don't have anything specific or how about a clean sound here? This is more of like a Voxy on the edge of breakup. And if I go to the neck, middle, so this is on the edge of breakup, so you do hear a little bit of that edge. But I like these pickups a lot so far. I haven't actually had an opportunity to play them live, but I'm going to be making a video demo of these. But I'm not going to go through my multi-effects when I do that. I'm going to go through an actual amp because I feel like the harmonic content comes through a lot better on an amp than it does on a multi-effects unit. But yeah, I'm liking these pickups. It took me a while to get these pickups in the guitar just because of everything that's been happening in the last little while in my life. But now that they're there, this video review and pickup review will be coming. So if you guys are interested in the no wax pickups, check them out. They have really nice pickups on their website. And you know, if you're looking at upgrading some of the pickups in your guitar, check them out because I really like what I'm hearing so far. Also, I wanted to do a little mini unboxing here. I ended up splurging and I got a couple of little things. You guys, I don't know if you guys like unboxing videos or not, but I got a couple of things here. So I'm gonna just quickly do a little unboxing for you. These are inexpensive K-line pickups. Pedals that I got, and I wanted to share them with you because I think they're cool. They're not expensive, and if you guys are looking at some stuff, why not check them out? This is one of their multi 10-band EQs, and I have an inexpensive Joyo one on my board. It's a 5-band. I've always wanted to experiment with a 10-band EQ. So I finally got one. Really nicely built unit. Probably more than what I need. Probably overkill. But I wanted to try it out. And I like the fact that it also has, you know, gain. Has volume and gain actually. And then you have the rest of the bands. The only thing I don't like, and you probably can see for yourself right now, is that because it's on it's in a box that's not black, hard to read. I have a hard time reading the frequencies here. See that? I like the fact that they have lights. I like the fact that it's well built and it's inexpensive, but I just have a hard time reading it. So what I'm probably gonna have to do is put a strip over here and just in marker or something write the actual frequencies so I can see what the hell they are. That's a big disadvantage to me on this one. I'll do a review for you guys with all of these, by the way, in case you guys are interested in buying inexpensive pedals. Yeah, Mark, I love the look of raw nickel. You know I'm a sucker for raw nickel. And to me, they just look right. Chrome, for whatever reason, I don't know, doesn't look right on my guitars. I just always try and go for raw nickel. I'm also not a huge fan of open pickups without any covers. But yeah, raw nickel is my go-to. I'm just a raw nickel kind of guy. And Vox says, I was saving to get a Harley Benton black paisley Telecaster. My wife found out and put a bunch of cash with it and bought me a new compound bow for my birthday instead. Hard to be mad. Hey, you know what? My wife never bought me a compound bow. I'm a big bow fan as well, Vox. So, you know, I know how expensive those bows are, especially if they're good ones. So, hey, yeah, you can't be mad about that. You can't. All right, the next pedal here that I also picked up is, again, this is one of their, still in the bag. You can see I haven't opened it yet. So it really is an unboxing video. This also is what they call, it's just the Kalen Overdrive. I don't know if there's a specific name to it or not. But basically what it is a 2-in-1. And it has, it's kind of split in two here. You have on, off here, tone, tone, volume, drive, tone, volume, clear tone. So you can actually mix the drive and the clean boost sections together in this particular one, which is pretty cool. You know, I don't mind, like the other day I was kind of complaining about big pedals like this. I don't mind going with big pedals if it's a 2-in-1, you know. If it's just a one pedal deal, I try and go with smaller ones just because I find it takes a little bit too much room on my pedal board. And so, and I haven't tried these yet, so I can't say how good they are yet, but I am going to try them. I'll do a pedal review of each one of these for you guys so you can check them out. And And if you guys have already tried some of these pedals, maybe you want to tell me what you think. What else do I have here? 1 second. Yeah, it does look like a block of cheddar cheese. I guess, you know, they had leftover paint of that color. Hold on. I can't pull it out. What the hell? It's stuck in here. Okay, next one. This one is a nice one as well. And there's actually names for all of these on their website. Here it's just, you know, there's no actual name on the actual pedal here. What do they call this thing here? This is the CP79 overdrive pedal. Again, it's a 2-in-1 deal. Overdrive boost, volume treble gain boost. So you basically can kind of play around with the drive, and then you have a boost there. So you just, basically it's 3 knobs and you have a boost built in. So if you want to solo over it, you just hit the boost here and it basically gives you a little bit more volume. Nice color, looks pretty cool. We'll see how it sounds and we'll try that one out. Zebra pickups are nice in certain guitars. I don't like zebra pickups in a Les Paul, for example. It's a little bit too modern looking. I like the classics. You know what I mean? And so finally, it's not deja vu. I ordered 2 of these. So this is the one I just showed before, the block of cheese. This is called the High Chief Dual Overdrive. And the reason why I ordered 2 is because I'm going to be giving one away. So you guys are going to have an opportunity to win one of these block of cheeses. And I'll tell you how you can go about winning these things later on. I haven't figured out what the draw will be, but I'm giving you guys a heads up. So if you guys watch my videos, and I'll tell you how you can actually win one of these, all right? So that's just a little thank you from me for being very loyal viewers of the channel, and hopefully you guys will be able to win a really nice free pedal, all right? The High Chief or High Cheese, either one, Mark, they all work. Oh man, you guys, you're killing me. Bruce says, right on, do your own music. You have the power to be an exceptional Bruce Brooks or second-rate SRV. You have to do what your hero, you have to what your heroes did decide to be yourself. Yeah, you have to be yourself. I agree. And I think it's cool to be able to put a unique spin on what you're playing and make it your own. I think that's really cool. And it does connect with the audience if you're playing live specifically when you're doing your own thing. It kind of makes it unique. And otherwise, you know, they can easily just listen to the record if you're going to be playing everything note for note and be a cover band, right? Will the pedal stain my fingers like Cheetos? Most probably over time, Dan, if you're playing enough. There's more of these pedal reviews, Vox. It's not just that one. I have a couple of other ones also lined up. So I have a few really nice pedals lined up for you guys, right? So guys, I did what I said. I went on for about another hour and I threw in an additional 20 minutes. There's still about 2 minutes or so left. So if you guys have any technical questions or anything you guys want to ask, do it now. We'll close the show, the last couple of minutes with the show, with some specific questions. If I missed your questions up above, please forgive me because I scrolled through stuff pretty quick today. But if you have any questions, definitely and ask them now. By the way, I was watching an interview with Joe Satriani, and something he said was very interesting to me. He said that on his new album, no real amps were used. So basically, everything you're going to be hearing on his new album is not a real amp. So as I said earlier, I think that's kind of the trend where people are going now. They're just actually using these multi-effects units. They're getting really good, and in a live situation, they're pretty flexible, and in a recording situation, a studio situation, they're still very good as well. So I'm surprised to hear that from Steve Vai, but that's what he said. Randy says, I'm waiting for my TC Helicon Performer VE. It will allow me to control vocals with my MIDI controller guitar. Wish me luck. Sounds complicated, Randy. I don't know how you're setting all of that up, but maybe one day you can explain that to me, because that's a little bit too advanced for me, but that's pretty cool. MIDI stuff, being able to control your sounds with MIDI, that's a whole other can of worms. Hey Mark, take the dog for a walk. Enjoy the day. I'm going to be doing the same. I think I'm going to take a quick little walk and get some air, and definitely come back here and finish some of those videos that I've been working on for you guys as well. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks to all the newcomers today. There's a few of you. Hopefully you'll be tuning in next Sunday as well, and tune in regularly to the channel, because the video reviews will be coming out, and you'll be seeing all of that in the next couple of days as well. And that's it, guys. Thumbs up to you. If you like what you're hearing here, give me a thumbs up, please. And it helps the channel. And if you ever want to grab swag, you know where to get it underneath my videos. It helps the channel grow and spread the word. Nothing's better than spreading the word, so we have new faces and new viewers here on Addicted to Gear. One last question or comment. Jeff says, what does he say? He says, did you see Adrian Vandenberg yesterday on Tone Talk? PV looking into reissuing the Vandenberg guitar. I did not see that. No, I didn't. But I will take a look. I will take a look. I'll try and catch it. Thank you for the heads up. I appreciate that. And of course, you guys, like I always say, if you have any questions and you didn't get a chance to ask on the live show, because I know some of you guys are working or not able to tune in when the show is live, ask your questions below, okay? Definitely we'll take the time to answer them. Thank you, guys. Stay well, keep practicing, and we'll talk again next week. Stay tuned. All right, bye.